Hello, everyone, and we are happy to be here today with Benjamin to talk to you a little bit about this work that we've been doing last year, actually. And on the topic of the environmental impact of digital products, and more specifically, it's a comparative analysis between product carbon footprint sheets and the result they give, and data from Resilio database. You can go to the next slide. So this work is a collaboration so between Aguaro and Resilio. And to give you a bit the context, we've been having recurring questions, mainly from our clients or others, concerning all the discrepancies between all the various sources of environmental data for digital products, and also concerning the reliability of manufacturers' data, more specifically. And therefore, we decided to join forces with Aguaro, as they had a lot of product carbon footprint sheets, and we had our database of environmental impact for digital products, Resilio database. Just 2 words about me. So I'm Louise. I'm in charge of the R&D activities at Resilio, which means we are responsible for doing studies like this one with partners, with research lab, etc. And also another topic that is linked to what we are discussing today, the creation of new models in this Resilio database, and the update of the model as time goes by. And I leave the floor to Benjamin.
Yes, thank you. Hello everyone, Benjamin. I'm sustainable IT engineer in Aguaro. So maybe for the context and for the one who don't know Aguaro, we are based in Nantes, in France. We are a mission-based company dedicated to sustainability, and we developed an application available in SaaS and through an add-on on ServiceNow, which is a big US platform dedicated to the ticketing and to the CMDB gestion. And maybe for the context, in our application, we have made the constat that the share of user terminals in the organization environmental footprint, so if we exclude the non-IT, for example, the purchase of services, so the share of user terminals is considerable. And of course, we are looking for confidence in the emission factor associated with those equipments. And this is why we work on this topic. This is also why the project Negaoctet has been created in France a few years ago. Unfortunately, we can't use it in order to assess the environmental impact of the user terminals. This is why, since the beginning of Aguaro, we are collecting product carbon footprint emitted by the manufacturer with a clear view of the quality, of course. In this paper, we are focused or work on the product carbon footprint were used with the PAIA methodology. We know that the PAIA method is neither satisfactory or applied consistently, but with a speech vis-a-vis our customers on the use of this data, we are using those product carbon footprint in our application. And the recent partnership with Resilio has led us to consider broadening together our source of information in order to compare them. And this is what we are talking about today. Is it okay for your presentation, Louise? I can go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
In terms of methodology, we have 2 kinds of input data, as you understand. So in the Aguaro side, we have the product carbon footprint sheets from Dell and HP only on this paper, because they are the two main manufacturers who were using the PAIA methodology. So for people who don't know what is PAIA, it's an algorithm using the LCA screening in order to have a view on the product carbon footprint for an equipment, and they made it really easily and in a few times. And the other input data is the impact from Resilio database for the same technical configuration. That means we compared two Eagles equipments, one produced two Eagles impact, two Eagles carbon footprint impact, one made by the manufacturer through the PAIA methodology and one from Resilio through their LCA methodology. We are focused on the impact on climate change. Resilio can have the information related to other impacts, but they are not available in the PCF, in the product carbon footprint. This is why we focus on it. We also focus only on the manufacturing phase because, and I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but we have all the detail in the PCF related to those manufacturing phase in terms of component of the equipment. So this is why we have the impact broken down. And we only have about 20 laptop references. Why? Because we focused on the PAIA methodology, so all the manufacturers of the day are not using the PAIA methodology. And also because we have a lake of data really in the PCF itself, because you can see the best example in the in your screen, but this is not the true for each product carbon footprints, and sometimes we don't have any information related to the impact repartition by component or by life cycle phases. So this is why we have this size of sample. And if I go to the next slide, this is what I said, the two methodology, and we have made a focus on those components, which is the fixed part, with gathering the screen, the battery, and the chassis. We have the main board with gathering all those equipment and the storage, as you can see on the screen. So what we can say through this evaluation is that the impacts are in the same order of magnitude. That means, as you can see on the screen, standard laptop is between 175 to 300 kilo of CO2 equivalent. It depends on the configuration itself, of course, but it depends also of the manufacturer. As you can see, we have separate the Dell one and the HP ones in order to see if there are any relation between the manufacturer and the impact of a computer. And you can see the difference observed between the impacts is not constant from one model to another. And we will see that in detail just after. We have made the focus in the different components, in the different parts, as we discussed just before. For the fixed part screen, one main observation has been made that we are not able to make a clear correlation between the screen size and the environmental impact in the manufacturer data. That means, as you can see on the screen, for the same screen size in the same category of equipment, we don't have the same amount of CO2 related to sometimes. So it's not easy to explain that because for a manufacturer, when you have details on the composition of the equipment, that means they have made the product carbon footprint in the same moment, at the same moment, maybe in a year, if you take this example, but maybe in 2029. And it's not easy to explain that. We were expecting a correlation between the screen and the impact, but this is not what we have seen in this paper. And of course, the majority of the impacts come from this part, in the fixed part, come from the screen. This is why we focus on it. And I give you the floor, Louise, for the rest.
Yes, so to end this overview of the main results, then here we can talk a little bit about this storage part. And as before, you can see, so these two graphs, so the one on the left shows the GWP impact of storage, of the storage part for all the various laptop models, and with the same color key. So for blue for the Dell datasheet, green for HP, and gray for Resilio database. And on the right, you can see the impact of storage. So for only here the datasheets, Dell and HP, and but this time depending on the storage capacity. And so what we can see in that, in this case, for the storage, there are very big discrepancies between the three data sources, and the graph on the left is quite chaotic, I can say. And when we go a little bit more in detail and try to analyze the impact of storage depending on the capacity, then we see that there are no clear correlation between these two these values. And well, in this case, especially in this case, we've seen also this lack of correlation in the slides before, but here, so there are one first hypothesis is the fact that there are other parameters such as the technology or the format of the disk that can explain a bit the difference, but as we really see, but we should still see, even with these parameters, we should still see a correlation between the impact and the storage capacity. And well, in this case, probably the most reasonable explanation is the problem that Benjamin has mentioned before, is the fact that in the manufacturer's data sheets, the technical configuration is not given explicitly. And therefore, we had to rely on data from reseller websites, for example, to find the technical configuration of one specific laptop models. And probably here the explanation, well, part of the explanation is the fact that the technical configuration, the amount, the storage capacity that we have considered for one specific model is not the same as the one that is been taken into account in the PAIA algorithm, and therefore, kind of, it's really hard here to draw any conclusion on, in order to explain the differences between the three sources. You can go to the other slide. Thank you. And so once we've seen all of these results, so the main conclusions that we can draw are, so first, the impacts are rather in the same order of magnitude, which is already a good starting point. And so there is not a ratio of 10 in between the data that we have, at least in the data that we have studied. And well, so concerning the manufacturer's datasheets, the most troubling, I think, conclusion for us was the fact that there was really no clear correlation between the technical configuration and the impact displayed. At first, we were not expecting really these this really lack, of correlation. And the main explanation to that, as Benjamin mentioned, is the fact that there are different versions of the calculator, of the PAIA calculator that has been used in these PCF datasheets. And for a model released, I don't know, in 2024, for example, the PAIA version that is used is not the same as for another laptop model that has been released, I don't know, in 2020. And therefore, the way they assess the environmental impact is not the same. And this, combined with a lack of transparency regarding the methodology that is behind, led to the fact that, we were not really able to dig really deeper and understand and explain all the differences that were seen here. And that's one of the main limits of this work here. The fact that due to this lack of transparency, we expected to dig a little bit deeper, but we were not able to do so. A second limit is concerns uncertainty and the fact that extracting data from these PCF sheets implies and creates a lot of uncertainty concerning the technical configuration that is used, as I mentioned before, and also for some of them that needed to visual reading of graphs were needed in order to extract the data. And finally, the third limit, I would say, concerned the size of the sample that were used here. Benjamin explained before the reason why it is that small, but we have to say that with this amount, so about 20 models only for one category of equipment, so only laptop. So it's not possible to draw any conclusions that could be extrapolated to all the PCF sheets or even other categories of equipment. And that being said, you can go to the next slide, Benjamin. So what are the key takeaways? What did we learn with this work? I think the most important thing that we would like to highlight today is the fact that we need a greater transparency about the methodologies that we are used to assess the environmental impacts of digital products. And on one hand, so from manufacturers' side, it's very important to have more information on how they, on the data that they provide. And we must say on that topic that it is improving, at least for some of them, as for example, Dell is now switching to an in-house calculator, so not relying on PAIA, but based on Sphera data, and they have published a quite complete white paper that explains their methodology. So this is quite a big improvement in terms of transparency, and we hope that other manufacturers are going to follow the same path. And concerning the sustainable IT community, then it is really important to continue the work that is done on building common guidelines in order to assess the environmental impact the same way, or at least have a common basis on which we can discuss and debate on the best hypothesis or to take into account. And there are a lot of works that have been done and that are also ongoing. Here, just two examples, but the product category rules that that are published regularly by ADEM, for example. They are guidelines rather for at the digital service level. We don't have ones concerning the products right now, but this might come. And another recent example, also the AFNOSPEC one was published recently concerning the way to assess the environmental impact of AI. So that's also an example of document and guideline that can be very useful to go in this direction. And yeah, well, thank you for your attention. If you're interested and want to read the full document, it's available at this link here. I think we'll share the slides, but we can also put it in the chat in the next minutes. And yeah, if you have questions, feel free to ask.
Yes, and maybe we can add also that we intend to make a version 2 of this paper, and now we want to assess the new methodology that Dell is using with the sphere data and not with the PIA. We are discussing with Louise in the way to assess this evaluation in the future.
Thank you, Louise and Benjamin. There are a few comments and questions in the chat, so if somebody wants to speak, and I saw that Pierre had a lot of comments, for example.
Maybe if we take the comments in the chat.
So there was a question about Sphera replacing Paya. There was a discussion on that. And feel free to speak, the people.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe if I can clarify. So Paya, so Sphera is a database of equipment, and the idea is that Dell has developed their methodology that is explained in this white paper that I mentioned. Maybe we can also find the link and put it in the chat. It is publicly available on their website. And the big improvement here is that they are as they develop the methodology, they are more they can be more transparent and explain the hypothesis that they've used, and they are not using Paya anymore for this, but this is only to my understanding. Maybe Benjamin, if I'm saying something wrong, don't hesitate to clarify. This only concerns the new laptop models. They are not computing again all the PCF impact for all the previous models. This will be applied only to the new ones.
Of course, they will apply it only for the new model, but they still you can find the Paya methodology on the oldest version for last models. They are still available online.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Pierre. Pierre, you have a question related to the storage configuration. We also have a comparison in the paper. We didn't present it in the presentation today, but if you read the paper, you can find information related to the storage. Of course, they give information related to the storage in the PCF, but this is for the configuration, for technical configuration. They didn't give the hypothesis they made related to the capacity of storage, so we have to take the technical composition available online, but not on the PCF. So maybe we have a difference between the information we consider and the information they consider on their side related to the storage capacity.
So just to make sure I understand correctly, in the PCF, they don't give you the amount of storage or RAM that they are considering for this evaluation.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that was my point. So in that case, if you need an estimation for one specific model, it's basically useless. To use as a generic value on average, why not? But if you actually, well, usually I don't look really at a laptop, but more at servers where we have exactly the same issue. And as they don't really give you the configuration they are considering, and if they give it to you, it's usually not representative of what you really find in real life. It's basically useless in my point of view.
In the PDF, they give the information that they are using the
most commonly sold configuration, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we try to find the same in their website, but sometimes it's not that easy.
Yeah, for server, it's even worse, and that's one of the things that decided us to go for this first sample and first analysis on the laptops only and not servers. We wanted to do servers at first, but then realizing that really no technical data was about the configuration was available, then it was it would have been completely useless to do this exercise on servers that we really don't know if we are comparing the same like similar equipments. On laptops, the differences should be smaller, as yes, you always have the possibility to upgrade, add more RAM or more storage or etc. But we consider that these risks, this uncertainty concerning the technical configuration should be lower. But as you've seen on the slide, there are probably still some differences.
Okay.